How's it going, everyone? It's Alex, and today we're going to be doing a setup tour. Hope everyone is doing well and on track for their goals for 2022. Now, this is like a yearly tradition at this point. We always kind of cover the desk as it's evolved. Once I really get comfortable with a desk or layout, I sort of tend to stick with it. I don't really go through trying to upgrade it every single year if a new monitor comes out. I think it's kind of pointless. If you get something that you like, I tend to stick with it, unless something breaks. So the goal of this space was to create something that would keep me productive, doing YouTube videos and not cluttered so I could film at any angle, and at the same time doing side jobs and doing, the occasional gaming once in a while. So I've always been a fan of 4K 16:9 panels. I tried going with that OLED 48-inch setup. The monitor's too big and the viewing distance just doesn't really work at this distance of the desk depth. So I ended up going with ultra-wide monitors, and I pretty much have stuck with them for the past couple years because I really like the aspect ratio. I feel like it's really immersive for gaming and for productivity where you can just snap things around and multitask really well. I do normally multitask when I'm video editing, so I'll normally have one screen open with DaVinci Resolve and the other monitor will have notes or clips, and it's really useful when there's a lot of stuff going on, so you can space it all out. So the two monitors I'm using in the background are the LG 34GN850s. I don't just remember that name, by the way. I have it in my notes, and I've probably said it 5 times. But they are mounted on some cheapo Amazon wall mounts that do the job without being overly expensive, which is what you should strive for in a product. And honestly, I really like them. They save having that desk space with the monitor stands cramping everything up. I like just doxing the stands, letting them float, and routing the cables. So I think it's a pretty nice look. And over the past year, I've gotten pretty into these monitor light bars. I think BenQ has one that's like over $100. I found this one for $30 to $40, does the job, gets a little ambient light in the room when you don't want to blast the overhead lighting. And I've actually become a big fan of these. I will make sure to have everything I mentioned in the video down in the description in case you want to check it out yourself. And moving on to freeing up desk space again. I am using an extended mouse mat from Random Frank P and Novel Keys collab. It's like a topo mouse mat. I really like extended mouse mats, not only because they give you that extended mouse room, but they protect the desk from scratching things. So if I'm unboxing something and I slip the knife, I am not going to screw up the actual desktop. And this little guy, I thought I should mention this, is the Ontario Rat 2. It's a really little awesome pocket knife for unboxing stuff, so I'll throw it in the description. It's super tough, it's well built, and it does an awesome job for 20 bucks. And it doesn't cost like $150, so pretty good job. Okay, so moving on to the rest of the desk. I also normally have a mug with some, you guessed it, water, stay hydrated. And down over here, I also got this little phone stand. So I kind of just throw it on the desk once in a while, throw my phone on it, and it keeps the phone out of my vision, but if I get a notification, I can see it. And I think it came with the phone case that I ended up buying, so it was essentially free. You'll notice when I'm actually sitting at the desk, the only thing that really takes up my vision is the two monitors and the phone, which I have off to the side. The PC is all the way off over here, and it's stayed the same for the past 3.5 years. I haven't really had the need to change it. It's a pretty powerful machine still. It's got an 8700K, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 3080, and it does the exact job I need it to do while putting on a little RGB show for me anytime I glance over at it. I do normally edit every single video on this PC unless I'm doing like a review when I did the MacBook Pro where I switched over to it to do some editing. But other than that, everything is edited on this thing. And I am into RGB, but probably not as much as I was when I first got into PC gaming. I'm probably going to end up going with like a compact minimal system in the future and probably see the video on the channel. So maybe in the future. Okay, so moving on to the speakers. These are the Logitech Z625s, which are pretty sweet for gaming if I do find myself not using headphones or have some people over. They do get really loud, and paired with the sub under the desk, you have like room shaking sound. I normally use the DT770 Pros primarily for any serious audio work, which are the staple of the audio setup. I also started using this VP3 shotgun mic on this little tiny tripod, which is a little bit overkill for Discord or game chat, but it also works great for voiceover. Both of them are not currently plugged into the Focusrite Scarlett interface, but when they are, I am pretty happy with the audio setup. The one thing that did change this year is the keyboard setup. As I destroy the desk and move everything, the keyboard setup is different. I opted to finally build a custom board using the GMMK Pro, and I'm really happy I did. This thing is really heavy, feels and sounds awesome for typing and gaming, and I paired it with a dark keycap set, an aluminum knob, and the other change I made was the mouse. So I used the Razer Viper Ultimate for about 2 years now, and I'm constantly kind of swapping it in and out, but I've had a ton of issues with it to the point where it would have disconnecting issues, stuttering, and the first one I had was actually completely broken. Second one I had also had a screwed up right click, and it's just been a mess. So I switched over to the glorious mouse, the Model O, and it's been awesome. Okay, so I think I've covered almost everything on the desk, other than the blatant IKEA plant and wrist rests, which I got from Etsy, from a Vietnamese artist that hand makes these, and he does a lot of other cool work. He makes these by hand, which is pretty crazy. This is supposed to be the moon landing. As you can tell, I'll have his work linked in the description below if you want to check out some of his stuff. And I think that's the entire desk setup covered, other than the cables down below, which I have tried to cover up at the cost of my sanity, routing them through channels on the back of the desk. A lot of people do their setups, have everything beautiful, but then they overlook the whole cable setup, and I think that kind of destroys the whole look. So I'm talking to you out there if you got your cables all over the place. Clean them up. Okay, so wrapping things up, furniture. This is an IKEA worktop, which is about $100 for 98 inches. Don't quote me on the price. I think it's $100. And IKEA Alex drawers, which I know are $90 and always out of stock because it seems like everyone uses them for their setups and they're really awesome. So I'm a big fan of IKEA stuff. Now, when it comes to the LED lights in the back of the setup, it's pretty much just a normal RGB light strip that has different functions. I turn on once in a while because I think it gives a little bit of an ambience, and that's everything, guys. Don't change things up that much. Once in a while, I'll change a couple things, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you stood to the very end of this video, I appreciate it. Catch you guys in the next one. If you have any comments or suggestions for setup guides or setup tours or things for your own setup, let me know. I'll be hanging out in the comments down below. Catch you guys in the next one, and again, thanks for watching.